welcome to I'm Not a Fan Unless I Have a Podcast. I'm John Hanford, and thank you so much for listening to this podcast wherever it is that you choose to do it. Thank you for everybody that is subscribed on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all that. I appreciate it. Thank you for everybody that follows on Instagram. If you don't yet and didn't know that was an option, it is an option. You can give me a follow at Gizz Fan Pod. It's on Instagram. And yeah, that's a fun place just to post clips from the show and, whatever the fuck else is on my mind that somewhat pertains to Gizz or music. Yeah, anyway, just figured I'd plug that since I usually forget to or just don't. Yeah, so thank you for all that. What else? I guess let's just get right into, what else? It's election day. So thank you for listening to that, to this podcast in light of that, or in lieu of maybe you're looking for an escape. So we're not going to keep talking about election day. On to the intro for today's guest. This guy's name is Zach, and he's a musician, show producer, really fucking cool dude, out of Boston. And it's just fucking awesome. He's got the show that he produces is called Play to the Plants. And the idea is that he'll invite different bands to come in to his basement and play music. That's what we talk about on this podcast is music. So he invites people to come in, play music to his weed plants. So yeah, this is another weed episode, our third one in a row. I don't mean to make this thing a total stoner podcast, but there is a good chance that if you do listen to this on the regular, you're probably smoking something. And it's probably not crack, so that's good. Anyway, without further ado, here is Zach. I was talking with Abby a few weeks ago, and she was just like, "Oh, you should definitely talk with Zach."
My constant sister.
Yeah. That was, first of all, the episode with Abby was just so much fucking fun because nobody loves anything as much as she loves cookies, so
Dude,
it was perfect.
She's awesome, man. Watching her get to meet Cookie finally was the coolest thing in my life, probably.
Oh yeah, I can imagine because you're presumably there for it.
Yeah, and I took the picture, and the best part was now she's got Cookie's old Instagram handle or whatever there, CookieDog69.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's cool. Good, dude.
Yeah, no, it's I just love talking with people that have an appreciation for other people's love. It's cool. And obviously that's why we're King Gizzard fans, and why you're such a fantastic horticulturist, apparently.
Yeah, man, trimming a couple buds right now as we speak. Never a slow day here, but yeah, no, dude, the Gizz, dude, they're the best, dude. You know what I mean? Look at them right now; they're on the come up. You know what I mean? So,
are they ever?
This podcast is great.
I mean, I'm thrilled to have this podcast that I got a few people who thoroughly enjoy it, and a whole bunch of people that are just like, it's okay, and it's a lot of fun. Stand-up comedy is my main thing, and I know that Gizz jokes are never going to translate to the masses.
Dude, you don't know that, though. You don't know that. They just sold out Red Rocks.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, it's still, there isn't a ton of cross-pollination I found between stand-up comedy and music, which is
I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
Yeah, I mean, but that I will say it does make it that much more special when I meet another comedian or another comedy fan that is all about rock and roll or whatever the fuck. Anyone that has an appreciation for really anything, I guess. But anyway,
I appreciate plenty.
Yeah, I mean, talking about appreciation, how cool is it that Gizz decided with automation that we're just gonna here are the raw assets for the video.
Yeah,
you can make your own and do whatever kind of editing you want with it.
I mean, I would say it's surprising, but after they gave away Polygon Dwanaland to the masses, I was like, nothing surprises me anymore. I'm going to do whatever the hell they want. And what a great idea. And they just keep knocking it out of the park. You know what I mean? And I love that song. That song slaps. I'm so happy they went back to microtones.
Yeah, I mean it's cool because like it has a very similar vibe as like Muddy Water, but
Yeah,
just with like the drum beat, the syncopation there, but
yeah, it's
um,
like a big gallop is
yeah,
what you would call that noise. It's like a big like psychedelic gallop, if you
yeah,
will.
yeah. I mean, because like when I think of a gallop, typically in like rock and roll or like metal, I think of like Iron Maiden, doing
Yeah,
the,
exactly. Run to
like
the
that
hills.
thing.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, but it's fun to do like a. I mean, I guess this is like a gallop with some hurdles and stuff. It's
Yeah.
because it's like
That's the
an
thing. They
is
always
it
like to give themselves little challenges. You know what I mean? It's like, how can we make this difficult for ourselves? And then that's King Gizzard. You know what I mean? It
yeah, and
sounds
then they
easy on the
master it.
surface, but it's not.
Yeah, I mean that's I think that is kind of a ironically that is kind of a hurdle for a lot of new fans. People that don't have a lot of exposure to weird time signatures.
Yeah.
Um,
The
it's
progressiveness of it. You know what I mean? It's just like it's all over the place. You think it's something simple, and then they just flip it on its head on you. And you know what I mean? Yeah, for a lot of people, it can be a little overwhelming almost in a way. That coupled with all the material, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, because like for me, I couldn't tell for like it took me about a month to figure out whether these guys were like actually my favorite band or if they were just being weird for the sake of being weird. It was. I had a lot of personal deliberation with that because like the last thing you want is for your favorite band or a band you admit to liking to just turn out to be complete phonies. Like,
Yeah, exactly. But they're like the real deal, you know what I mean? Like that's what I was worried about too. I was like, are these guys gimmicky? Am I gonna meet them and they're like actually kind of like herbs? But like, nah, dude. When I like got to hang out with them all and like, especially like even like the Orb guys, you know what I mean? All the Orb and Murloc guys, like all those flightless guys are just the coolest people in the world. I can't say enough good things about them. Like
yeah,
I was
I
talking
mean,
to Callum earlier.
because like with Zach Olson, of Orb and Traffic Island, whatnot. Um, like, is that what gave you the idea to spell your name that way, or is that just a happy coincidence?
Happy coincidence. And the best part was we bonded over a smoke about it. And yeah, no, because he was the first person. I went out and like back at the place. And, yeah, we got to see Eric and Lucas. And this was at the New Haven gig last year. So like now it's my fun. I got to meet Zach. And so yeah, I was just chilling along the side. Everybody's waiting for Stu. The line for Stu is forming, as we call it.
Yeah,
And so the line is formed. I got to see Stu real quickly. I don't like to waste a lot of Stu's time. He has a lot of people to talk to. The poor bastard. But
yeah,
fucking he loves it, so he doesn't mind it. But anyways, so yeah, we decided to go around back, and that's where I took the picture of Abby and Cookie. And I go out back there, and Callum's out back. Jamie, all those guys from Orb, and that's the thing that a lot of people don't realize about the Gizz crew is that they're not really like stoners. You know what I mean? Like I
yeah,
won't speak too many personal details about all their lives and shit. But yeah, they're not like hardcore stone. Like you want to see some hardcore stoners, you go to a fucking Kikagaku Moyo show or something like that. Those guys smoke. But
Oh
fucking yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it doesn't
They're from
surprise me.
Amsterdam. You know what I mean? They're from Amsterdam. All those Amsterdam bands smoke like chimneys. You know what I mean? Which is that didn't surprise me at all, actually, which is the funniest part.
Well, actually, so how I mean, because like I know Kikagaku, they love their cigarettes, but I don't know about do you know how
What,
long
you
they've
think
been?
all those cigarettes are full of just nicotine?
Okay, no, it's okay. Fair point. Probably a spliff. Yeah, I didn't think. I'm not. I don't fuck with nicotine, so I
don't
just
either.
assume it's all
I
tobacco.
go strictly weed these days. I used
Yeah,
to fuck with the cigs, but not anymore. I had to stop. Got a little too crazy.
yeah.
Expensive too up here in Massachusetts, man. It's like fucking like $10 a pack.
Oh yeah, I mean it's like that basically everywhere that's not a reservation.
Yeah.
But I mean just objective truth. But
nice. Yeah, good point. Good point.
yeah, I mean we don't need to get into a whole tangent about cigarettes, but
Yeah.
but with Kikagaku Moyo, do you know how long they've been in Amsterdam? Because like I know,
So
obviously they're out of
the whole
Japan.
thing about them was, I mean, their whole thing was they used to busk on the streets of Tokyo.
Yeah.
I mean, they'll even tell you that nobody back then in Tokyo gave a literal shit about psych rock, so they had it difficult. So I'm pretty sure Go and Go and Ryu, I forget. It was either I know it was Go and somebody decided, yeah, let's like pack this shit up and go over to Amsterdam for a bit. And other bands have been doing that too. I mean, Alton Goon's another one that's like, I mean, I'm not gonna get into their personal lives. I don't know if they're smoking up a fucking. They're from Amsterdam and shit too. And yeah, I mean, I just, they're all like. That's why the psychedelic scene out of Amsterdam is like sneaky good. A lot of underground music coming out of there that you should check out. So.
I mean, shit, I wish I had known that when I was in Amsterdam like two and a half years ago.
You've been? I've never been, and I've always wanted to go.
I mean, it's a beautiful place. I mean, you're probably gonna nearly get killed by a bicycle every 5 minutes or so. But I mean, like I was nearly killed. Like I had like 3 near-death experiences my first 10 minutes getting off the train from Schiphol Airport. But
hey, at least it's cleaner than here, man.
Dude,
buses aren't shit around here.
Oh, I mean, like everything about. I just love it. Amsterdam. It is such a cool place. Like you get to go to these.
Get over there.
You got to get to these coffee shops that are really.
Oh, yeah.
You just smoke and like you have a lot. You just have conversations with the locals. If you find the right coffee shop that's like not too touristy, or maybe that was just my lucky experience, but. Yeah, I mean, Amsterdam's such a cool place, and I had no idea that they even had much of their own music scene. It makes sense that they would, but
I mean, hey, you legalize pot and mushrooms? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You're gonna have some fun.
So they didn't legalize mushrooms. They legalized psilocybin truffles.
Oh, okay.
It's a technical
thing. Come on
now. But I mean, I went to Amsterdam for a psilocybin truffle retreat. That was
awesome.
It was hosted like about an hour outside Amsterdam. It was it was really fun. And luckily at the time not everything has its positives. I was working a corporate job at the time, so I could afford to do it barely. It was not cheap, but it was it was a wild time.
That's awesome. Dude.
I mean, it was yeah. I mean, because like the whole thing, it was like geared toward personal betterment and like kind of geared toward like entrepreneurship, which I guess in being a creative person, you kind of have to have that spirit if you want to have a house.
Exactly. That's great though. Freaking hell, man.
Yeah.
I'm glad you got to experience that. I mean, that sounds like a trip.
Yeah, a trip and a half. I mean, just Europe is incredible, and I really wish that there was. I wish I could be over there more, or maybe it's that I just wish the U.S. was more travelable by train.
And like didn't have like horrible politicians that like gave us like COVID-19 spreading everywhere and shit.
I mean, you got that shit in Europe too. There's to
a lesser extent.
To a lesser extent, in some regards. My last guest that I recorded with yesterday. So he's actually based out of the Czech Republic, and their COVID numbers are fucked completely. Like they're, I was about to say they were fucking bad, but I was like, no, it's just fucked completely. Cause like he just texted me this morning, just had like 14,000 new cases yesterday. I mean, it's completely absurd.
Per capita, that's really bad. So
yeah,
that's really bad.
I mean, cause like that surpasses anything that we've had here in the States. I mean, I'm in Southern California, and it's luckily not terrible. But at the same time, it's frustrating because nobody knows what the hell's really going on.
Yeah, and who knows if we're ever gonna get touring back, man. Like right now, you know who I was set to have this month come by here? Fuzz
shit.
By and do Play of the Plants. Yeah, I've been talking to Ty and all the guys about that for a while. But then yeah, we had to cancel that because I met Ty a couple times. I chill with him the first time after the Ty Siegel and White Fence show. So I got to meet Tim Presley too, and that was awesome. And Josh. Gotta love Josh. But freaking, so yeah, we talked. I didn't really have the idea for Play of the Plans like formulated at that point. But I met up again with him at the Brooklyn residency in the fall, and that was a big one. So
sick. Well, let me let's get right into Play for the Plants, because that was one of the big things that Abby was telling me about when she was like, "Oh, you should definitely hit up Zach, have him on." Let's talk about what Play to the Plants is. Because I honestly have very little idea. Do you want me to guess what I think it is, or?
Yes, actually, now I do.
Okay. So, what my guess Play to the Plants is that it's basically like a concert where where the musical groups just play at the weed plants in hopes that that will give them the spirit to grow fruitful. Is that accurate?
Well done, my friend. Well done. I mean, it's in the name, but still, well done. Yes, I mean that's exactly right. Here, let me see. Hold on one second. Let me
Got
see
it.
if I can give you a little bit of a view here on this. So we have plants, and we have the stew. And the stew gets pretty extensive. It goes all the way down to here and whatnot.
You're kind of pointed at the ceiling right now. What's the stew?
How about that? The stew goes through to here. Kind of a mess right now. We're in between sessions, but
Shit, yeah.
yeah, a little bit of a stew, and then everybody plays to the plants. So yeah, it's a little bit of a setup. I'm doing dances with laptops right now.
Yeah. I mean, you know, not the best camera resolution, but what can you do?
Yeah, sorry about that. I tried.
I mean,
it's on Instagram at Play of the Plants. So it's all one word too.
Okay, is that play to the plants or play of the plants?
Play to the plants. So that it's like PTTP is when we shorten it down. Because what it is, in a way, it's sort of like you take your shows like KEXP and Tiny Desk and all that shit, and you just add weed plants and like a little bit of fun, like the Eric Andre show or something like that. You know what I mean?
Dude, so, I love it.
Yeah, exactly. Just something fresh, because that's the one thing about KEXP. I love KEXP to death. Like if you hear this KEXP somehow, I love you. But if you don't, that's all right. Anyways, if it's kind of like that, but the thing about KEXP is they take themselves very seriously there. You know what I mean? Like Michelle,
yeah.
Carol Waters. I think the only like really fun KEXP I've seen with like a lot of like hilarity in it was Ty Segall's when he dressed up like a baby. But so I mean, I want like madness like that. I want people like falling down staircases, running through doors, doing crazy shit. You know what I mean? Make it really fun, like double watchable. You get the music and the entertainment.
Yeah, I will say, from having grown up in the Seattle area, it's the practices out there are very ahead of the times and like perhaps too progressive for their own good. Just with regard to like safety measures and stuff, like you gotta, I mean, like I hear all these stories about people growing up in like, you know, Boston in the 70s, absolutely chaos, complete chaos. And
people would go down to this club called the Rat Skeller. Well, it was actually short for the Rat. And our buddy's dad, Dean, used to bounce down at the Rat. And he told us a bunch of gnarly stories, dude. People getting their eyeballs knocked out and crazy shit like that. Like, I mean, the Pixies played there and shit, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and Pixies are my favorite Boston band, too. That's a little bit of info for you. No offense to, like, Aerosmith and all them, but the Pixies rock.
Yeah, I dig the Pixies. Yeah, they're fun. But, you know, it's like just take away some of the safety guards. It's how you make, like, I don't know, it's how people get their personality. And that's
you make something real, you know what I mean? That's that's how you make a scene. Like my big thing is, that's why I hate this pandemic so much. Is like I love bringing people together. That's why like not being able to do that has been so hard, because like I wanted to play the plants to grow into something, like whether it be like a record label or something like that. But I wanted to fill this house out here with groovy people, you know, jive people, kind of like how the Grateful Dead did their shit out in San Fran, you know what I mean, on that crazy street there and all that. Speaking of, he became a big Dead guy during the pandemic, Deadhead. And I've seen, you know, the other thing is too, which I'd like to bring up if we got a chance, is the similarities between the Dead fans and the Gizz fans. They're out there. I didn't notice it at first until I watched the Amazon documentary Long Strange Trip. Recommend it to everybody. And yeah, I can kind of see how like the rabid fan base of the Dead kind of shifted onto the Gizz group now. That's why we have a lot of Deadhead fans that follow Gizz. Yeah,
and we got Dead fans, Fish fans.
I mean, aren't Fish fans just the next evolution of Dead fans?
Yeah.
Really? So, now you got Gizz fans. You got like Wolfpack fans and weird shit like that. So, I mean, it's cool. Like the jam band scene and the psych scene merge really well sometimes.
Yeah, well, it's interesting because like I've been reading this book and I've brought it up like I think more episodes than not on this podcast, but it's or maybe that's an exaggeration. But the book I've been reading is called Everything I Know About Business I Learned from the Grateful Dead. And and it just breaks down their entire business model and like how they you know, how like you've always got to invest in yourself, in the people. You have to create like a symbiotic relationship. And and basically insource as much as you can, and and basically just reinvest continually.
Yeah,
And
exactly. I mean,
that's
it
exactly
almost
what Gizz
killed
is doing.
Jerry.
Yeah.
It pretty much killed Jerry. Like towards the end of his life, there was one point where like his I mean, his kind of girlfriend at the time. I don't know how they would describe it, but anyways, his kind of girlfriend at the time was just like, hey, like, you're using again. Why don't we like slow down a bit? And he's just like, I can't slow down. I literally have all these people depending on me, and I'm worried. I actually do worry a little bit down the line that could happen to Stu, because Stu. I mean, the thing about Gizzard is a lot of parts can be interchangeable. I mean, it'd be kind of hard if you lost Ambrose in a way, but I hope that Stu doesn't start to get fatigued. That's like the one thing. Like the Dead need to take a break, and if Gizz ever needs to take a break, I think the fan base needs to accept that more. You know what I mean? Like,
100%.
I feel like a lot of people would be like, well, they can't stop. You know what I mean? And it's like, they can do whatever the hell they want. It's like Stu could come out with a freaking R&B album tomorrow. You know what I mean? And and I'd have no problem with it.
Oh, I would have no problem with that. I mean, obviously you never want to see Gizz stop, but I totally would understand it. Like,
the fatigue. The one good thing I will say, I mean, it's not really good, I'd say, for anybody, but I mean, the one thing that came out of the pandemic that's nice is that they're not touring themselves to death anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That is one thing that I can really like lead a band to exhaustion. It's just so much touring and whatnot. But
I mean, also with Eric leaving, I think this was a perfect time. Like everybody's been, have more time to like be with themselves. Yeah. And like,
I just worry for other songs though. With Eric gone, what's going to happen during like Nuclear Fusion and like other shit like that, where he's actually pretty necessary, and the hi-hat beat isn't going to, his calves can't grow 2 more arms.
Yeah. I mean, I have a feeling that they'll either adjust to make it work, or they'll, like with just calves, or they will bring on an additional drummer to at least tour with and play with. And, who knows, maybe that's even Amy Finley.
You think, hey, why not, right?
I mean,
you think
that'd be a very in-house option. What's that?
Do you think Eric's coming back for the Red Rock show?
Yeah. I don't think there's any way he won't come back and at least like take the stage and just wave to everybody. Because like Red Rocks is such a legendary venue.
Well, I mean, he's going to want to play it. You know what I mean?
I mean, I would think so, but I also don't want to say with certainty of any level that would happen.
You never know. You literally never know with this band.
I mean, right. I mean, like I know most musicians, and any chance that we get to play Red Rocks, we would do it.
Yeah,
you would do it.
Heartbeat. Yeah, I mean that's the holy ground right there.
Right, and especially when like the whole thing is kind of like a way to like cap off the first iteration of King Gizz,
Yeah, exactly.
I think Red Rocks would be a proper send off for Eric. It would make all the sense in the world. But I'm also, I think it's possible that maybe he comes on to play like, one suite with them, and then or maybe he comes on for like the last song, then they do Head on Pill.
And they light
something.
his drum set ablaze. It just explodes on stage in like a mightiness, and he's really gone.
Oh yeah, oh shit! I mean, like that'd be like combining the worlds of Spinal Tap and Self-Immolate.
Turn it up to 11.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah.
Although awesome. Honestly, I think we'd be more likely to lose Eric to a bizarre gardening accident than spontaneous combustion.
You never know with that guy.
Yeah, but back to his departure, I think it's like I view it as a positive ultimately for the band and Flightless, because ultimately if it wasn't something like, if Gizz wasn't something that Eric saw as being a long-term viable option, and he needed, whereas he knew that he would need to keep Flightless afloat, you never know how long other bands are going to stick around or stay together. Like it takes, I can only imagine it takes a shit ton of work to run a label, and then to play in a band that's touring constantly and recording constantly on top of that is just insane. I'm surprised he was able to do it for as long as he did.
Right, and then you have all these like releases, and then they broke the Australian post office, and he was hiding under his desk. It's very stressful.
Yeah.
What a time though.
Yeah. Well, so as we're talking with Australian Post and all that, like I just ordered two of the records. I ordered KG and the Live in San Francisco
Nice.
from Flightless. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get the denim version of the of KG. I was checking out at 6:06 a.m. Pacific time, and I had it in my cart. It was available still, and then there's like, it's no longer available. I was like, well, the yellow one better be, and luckily it was. But
that happened with me with the was Infest the Rat's Nest version. It was in my cart, and then it wasn't.
Yep.
Yeah, it's crazy. I ended up grabbing I'm glad I waited actually, because I couldn't do the whole Australian shipping thing because it's like $65 for a record. Not their fault. But yeah, so I waited. I'm glad I did, because then they set up that US site, and I grabbed one of those like pink lemonade dead brain and whatever the hell they are.
Yeah, the brain splatter. I picked up one of those as well. And I dude, it's cool, but I think I got a little bit of buyer's remorse. Like I kind of wish I'd picked up the blue-green one, because
I have too many blue albums to keep going. I just got Fuzz. My Fuzz turned out blue, so I'm kind of happy I went with a different color for pink.
Yeah, I mean, because like I was just thinking, because that was the closest to denim, which I liked that. I don't know why I wanted the color of that album to be like that sort of subdued blue.
It's really nice.
It's gorgeous, but I'll be happy with the brain splatter and the what is it? The Let It Mellow yellow color.
Yeah.
The names that they come up for these colors are just ridiculous. But
them and the OCs, man. The OCs have some pretty wild ones, named ones too.
Yeah. What do we got from the OCs?
I mean, the OCs, if you go on like Blood in Your Eye, I remember I had Blood in Your Eye. What was that? Was that Orc? No, that was one after Orc, with Henchlock on it. I forget what the name of that one is. They put out so much freaking music. I forget what one. I just got Protein Threat in the mail the other day.
You got which one?
Protein Threat, the newest one.
Yeah. Oh God, I've been. Yeah, I was listening to that constantly. It's a great album. It's been hard for me to get into the OCs as much as I have with Gizzard. Just
it took me a while too, actually, because like I don't really like OCs prior. I mean, I can't say I don't like it, but like when they're like OCS and stuff like that, and it's a little bit more mellow, and I mean John's definitely on a bunch of speed, but but yeah, I mean all like the mellower OCs I don't really get into, but anything like prior to 2011 is just slappy, you know what I mean? And you can't really not say that Gizz didn't get some influence with Willowboo's Beach and 12 Bar Brews when it comes to like albums like Warm Slime and shit like that from the OCs that was coming out around that time. Like I always like to think in my mind that Stu and Cavs probably were just getting baked after like, I don't know, school? Were they in school around that time? I forget. Yeah, maybe like after school, I think Stu and Cavs were just getting baked and listening to the OCs. And yeah, that's where they came up with that Willowboo sound in a way. I mean, that's what I think. Maybe they say different. They've never really touched up on OCs much. They sell their shit. So
yeah.
I never was a fan of the whole OCs versus King Gizz drama. You know what I mean?
I had no idea that there was even any drama. Did that extend beyond the fan base?
I mean, a couple of band members in the OCs might have said some shit or something like that, but I've never heard Gizz talk about OCs ever, other than selling their stuff in the Flightless store. You know what I mean? But,
yeah.
Like I said, I don't really like to touch upon people's dirty business too much.
Yeah, I mean that's fair. I mean, drama is definitely my kryptonite, and I like to not fall down that path of indulgence.
Yeah. But I mean, like the coolest thing in the world would be if we got, I call it the if I could arrange a Play of the Plants tour of some sort, right? I would call it the All Get a Bong tour, and I would have King Gizz, OCs, Ty Segall, Frankie and the Witchfingers, Wand. Like, oh man, I would have all the big bangers in the psych rock scene. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because that would be really nice. It'd be nice to do something like that. You know what I mean? Because you have all your huge EDM festivals where like all the big DJs show up. Why don't we have one where all the big psych rock groups show up? You know, and we have Desert Days, but like that's like to an extent. You know what I mean? I'm saying like something even bigger than like Desert Days. No offense, I love Desert Days to death. Juju's the man.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I live in Joshua Tree, so like Desert Days is right there. It's very,
You're so
it's
lucky. I've
very
never gotten
local.
to go, man. I always had to miss out.
Yeah, I mean, like I only moved to Joshua Tree after Desert Days happened, um, a couple years ago, and then last year I couldn't afford it. So,
Ah,
but yeah, I mean, but there's so much of that music that extends beyond the actual festival, and
yeah.
it's just because Desert Days will just promote events at like Pappy and Harriet's and
Yeah, and then
some
they
other like
work
desert.
together with like Levitation sometimes and all
Yeah,
that shit. You know what I mean? Levitation's awesome. They're terrific people.
I mean, the thing is, like, I don't really worry about there being not enough psych rock festivals because wherever you seek out psych rock, you're going to find it typically.
Yeah. Oh,
Um,
I'm just saying kind of one to bring everyone together. Like, it doesn't
yeah,
have to be a yearly thing. I think actually, the dance scene or whatever the hell it is, they're probably burnt out on that. But yeah, I mean, if we could just have like one, you know what I mean? Like I kind of liked how Gizz was doing Gizz Fest in a way, you know what I mean?
yeah,
I do miss that because that was like the thing. It's like, hey, who's showing up to Gizz Fest this year? I'm gonna get into that band. Like Kikagaku Moyo took off from that. Alton Goon took off from that. Like a bunch of different bands. Divide and Dissolve, I think is another one. It
mhm.
was really good to play there. So yeah, I mean, I've found so many acts just from watching Gizz Fest.
That's yeah. I mean, that's it's fascinating because like, I mean, I'm still like relatively like I think I come off as more nuanced with psych rock than I actually am. Because like Gizz is my main shit, and then like there's some other ones I'll listen to. Like obviously Murlocs and some of the OCs and but and Kikagaku, but like Alton Goon, I haven't listened to any of their
I
albums. Like
can't
they,
believe Eric found them for that, or whoever the hell found them for Gizz Fest. Like that's just such a wicked random grab, but it's
yeah,
perfect. They're awesome people too. I've seen them I've hung out with them a couple times.
yeah, that's sick. So I mean, and like obviously, I would love to I guess talk with Eric really about like
Yeah.
how he discovers like these people. Like I know he found Leah Senior just playing at some coffee house,
Yeah.
and I mean she's
He still plays coffee houses.
yeah. I mean,
How awesome is that?
I mean, I love everything about Leah Senior. Like she's
Yeah.
just such an incredible songwriter. I mean, just a beautiful person, and just
And she's gonna be at Red Rocks.
yeah. I mean,
Oh,
I'm so excited for her to open the show, but also obviously for like the
for
Murdered
all of the
Universe
Murdered
and like
Universe
maybe a
parts.
little bit with like Polygon Dwanaland,
Yep.
some of those. But I mean, I'm just excited. I love. I mean, like Leah Senior to me is like how like she's just sort of like the epitome of like how they operate. How
Yeah.
Flames operates. Just like it doesn't matter where you're playing, like as long as it sounds good and Eric hears it, you're probably gonna get signed. But back to Play to the Plants. You're saying like you want to get like Ty Segall in there, or like OCs and stuff. Like what have you had any like big acts come through, or has it been sort of more of like a local level type thing? Because I honestly have no idea.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll describe it to you. So we had one right before the pandemic hit with a local band called Lucid Links, like a couple of Berkeley cats that are friends of ours. And I mean, yeah, with the pandemic now, that was right before it hit. It hit. Everyone stopped touring. It was impossible to get anybody by. Even like local bands wouldn't come by in the beginning, so you weren't sure. You know what I mean? Now I'm a little. We can socially distance. We have masks, all the crap that we should be smart about it. Back then, you weren't sure. Even our government wasn't sure. They still aren't sure.
Yeah, nobody knows anything.
They're all idiots. But anyways, so that pandemic hit. No one starts touring. Then I start looking into the Northeast, and I find out that actually there's a ton of talent in the Northeast that I didn't know about personally. Because I mean, usually when I'm here, I'm in my basement. I'm listening to Gizz, The Dead. I pretty much tuck myself away from the world. I used to be a big going out guy, but I kind of got old, I guess you could say, especially in Boston. It's, more of a historical city, not party city. But yeah, so with like Play of the Plants, you know what I mean? Like we kind of just decided that like, hey, I can stay inside. I can do my thing. I can have all these bands by. So like, yeah, I brought it up. And the best was I brought it up to Stu. And Stu, like, I'm in a line of like 30 people, waiting to see Stu. And yeah, I get my chance. I get my like 20 seconds with Stu. So like I tell him like really quick, like really fast and rushed. I'm like, hey, Stu, how's it going, man? I got this crazy show called Play of the Plants. Want to come play my plants? And he's like looking at me like, yeah, I'll come play your plants. But like, like the way you said it was just so fucking funny. It was a good thing I talked to like some of the other guys later on that could like be like, hey, Stu, that guy, he's not a maniac. He actually like has a show. And
Yeah.
You know, because like, yeah, I pretty much adopted Callum from Orb and Murlocs as my cousin lately. I mean, I talk to him daily.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, I talk to Zach a lot too. I mean, I talk to all those guys on like Instagram and shit like that. They're all fucking stuck in the butt. They're doing what we're doing.
Yeah.
They're all bored making music. You know what I mean? So it's a good time to reach out to some of your favorite artists to tell them you love them. You know what I mean? That's a good way to be. But, yeah,
dude.
With Cal, I just, I mean, like, he's like a brother to me, almost in a way. You know, I mean, I literally like, talk to that guy daily. You know, I try not to pry out too much out. Like a lot of people, like a couple of my friends found out I talked to him, so they're like, "Hey, can you ask him when like the new Murlocs is coming out and blah blah blah?" And I'm like, "No, I can't. I don't want to just bother him." You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I like that. I mean, I'm lucky he's even talking to me. You know what I mean? At the end of the day.
I mean, it's cool that you have that type of tact. Because like, I mean,
I love making friends with people. I love staying friends with people. Like you and me, we'll probably talk more after this. You know
oh,
I mean?
for sure.
Last time I talked to John Hannaford, I'll tell you right now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, for sure, and I mean, like a few. I guess it was 2 episodes ago or 3. I guess when this comes out, I was talking with my buddy Elmo Kirkwood of the Meat Puppets, and basically I met him the same way. Like we met after a show in 2013. I told a Holocaust joke and he thought it was hilarious. And I mean, I became
works with some bands, all right,
dude. I mean, and it's not like, look. Also, my last name's Hanford, but I am Jewish. These are jokes that like they're well researched.
Hit. I mean, that was a hit right there, man.
Yeah, I'm not going to apologize. But I'm just going to establish a little bit of context. Basically, just by like not kissing ass and just being yourself is probably the best way to make friends with anybody.
I mean, wait outside the band with a couple of joints. That was my thing. Just I roll up like 4 or 5 bones and go in. Even if the band doesn't smoke, they'll talk to you after the show. I mean, like even like Juan, you know what I mean? Like a couple of them smoke, but Corey, the lead singer, he doesn't smoke. But he loved the idea of Play the Plants. And I talk to him all the times too. And he was telling me, it was so funny because like I mentioned the idea. He's like, yeah, I don't really smoke, but yeah, the idea of playing the plants and like photosynthesis. He started like breaking down like plant structure to me, and I was like, damn, what the fuck? This guy knows all about plants.
Isn't that great?
I mean, Juan, another one that I got. I mean, I talked to over 30 major bands in the punk and psych rock scene last year. I got a bunch. But the thing is, I want to diversify too. I don't want to go just psych and punk. I want to have some rappers in here. I want to have some DJs in here. I want to have like streamers, like video game streamers. Stream to the plants. Do whatever to the plants you want. You know?
Yeah.
I mean? Let's make some content here. That's all about it.
I mean, that's very, very much is kind of NPR Tiny Desk. It's like all over the place in terms of genre.
We'll do it.
Yeah. I mean, I will say though, there are some times where I've been in a situation where I've been like talking to other band members. For example, when I met Kikagaku Moyo, or like I met their lead guitarist and I met Go.
You met Dowd.
Yeah, Dowd.
Yeah, Dowd, man, love Dowd.
I mean, he was a cool guy. He autographed my set list that I got. But when I was talking with Go, like the whole thing, I was on acid and like I was peak trip. I was like peak trip right at the end of the show. Man. Cheryl Waters showed up. This was in Brooklyn in 2018. Cheryl Waters was there. I got my picture taken with her and like it was so cool.
She's my hero. She's literally my hero. I her more than like her. So my 3 heroes right now are Cheryl Waters, Michelle Cable of Panache Booking, and John Dwyer. I mean, I love John Dwyer.
Yeah.
He's done so much for music. But yeah, Cheryl Waters. You met Cheryl Waters? I'm so jealous right now.
Oh, dude, it was cool. It was the coolest thing. I had like the biggest like acid shit-eating grin on my face, just like.
That's so awesome.
And then I uploaded the picture the next day. I finally met my celebrity crush, and it was. I mean, like I absolutely love Cheryl Waters. Everything she's done for music, especially in the Seattle area.
Like she's literally everyone's on. You know what I mean? the coolest
Yeah.
shit in the world.
I mean, totally. And yeah, I mean, I just love her to pieces. And it was so I got to meet her, and then I just made a complete idiot out of myself, like meeting Go, because the thing is, when I was in high school, I decided to take Japanese because it was offered. I figured
man.
like
You tried to talk Japanese on
I
acid.
did. I tried to talk Japanese on. I tried to speak Japanese on acid, and oh, it was so cringy. I was just like,
That's so bad.
oh, horrible. I mean, like to prove that I can speak a little bit of Japanese, here goes. Boku no namae wa Hanfuru John desu. Seattle ni sundeimashita. Joshua tree sundeimasu. And so
All right.
means I used to live in Seattle. Now I live in Joshua Tree. But when I was speaking on acid, I guess I wasn't enunciating everything. And then, oh God, goes just like, come again.
You say you are bathroom? You are bathroom man.
I mean, it was, the whole thing was so weird for all parties involved. Cause like I was there with like my concert buddy in Brooklyn, Monty, and then, and like a bunch of other people in that crew, and then Go, and I'm just the only one there on acid.
You're so tripping, dude.
Yeah, I mean, so everybody else is just like, what are you doing right now? They're just like, oh, it was ultimate cringe. But I have to own it, that's one of those things.
Japanese to like one of the only dudes in the band that knows English well.
Yeah, I mean, all their lyrics are in
He's
Japanese.
literally one of the only guys in the band that knows English well.
I didn't know. You see, that was my first time really getting, because like I had heard a little bit of Kikagaku just from the Spotify shuffle at the time, because like their song "Smoke and Mirrors" would always come on.
Oh, so good.
Honestly, that's my least favorite Kikagaku song.
What? Really?
Yeah, I don't know. I've just never been able to get into that one.
Streets of Calcutta is my jam, obviously, if we can go with anything.
I mean, I liked basically every other song of theirs, and because like when I saw them, they were just touring Masana Temples, and like they played Kogarashi and Green Sugar and shit, and like that was badass. But yeah, I mean, like just the Dripping Sun, the Entrance Jam, Gatherings, like those are such fucking heavy jams that are. Like that's what really got me into them, seeing all those songs played live.
Yeah, man, they rule, dude.
But
I love them so much.
Oh yeah, and then I've seen them three times since. Yeah, I mean they're just fucking sick.
Sorry, laptop charger here.
Oh yeah, we got to keep this shit going.
Oh yeah, we do. So, oh wow, I'm like, you got like a nice bottle of water and stuff. I'm like pounding it out of a 2-liter ginger ale right now. That's how my day's going. It's been a busy one.
Yeah, well, that's been cool. So you mentioned, I mean, Play the Plants. You hit like a little bit of a snag. So what have you like the stuff that you've been working on today and keeping busy with? Like, is that Play to the Plants related?
Ready, hopefully, so what's going on now is I had a little like I said, the snag came back. We tried to do another one a couple weeks back, but I kind of came to realize by doing that one a few weeks back that I need a little bit more help with this. So what I did was I started to assemble a team, Play the Plants team, if you will. So I got my buddy Josh from a local radio station called Fuzzed Out 90.3. He comes by and helps me. Then I also have my buddy Peter, who just moved out here from California, is going to be helping me now, and he's been working at like churches and stuff, like running like sound systems, and like he also is a big like camera guy. This guy, he's pretty much who I've been looking for my whole life. So he's gonna be helping with that. And on top of that, here's my big dude here is Jason Stokes, Berkeley professor, is actually gonna be on board with us coming up. And that's a huge one for me because this guy's worked with artists like Outkast and Boys to Men, like crazy, like names and shit like that. So he's gonna be he comes in, so funny, he comes in the studio the other day for the first time, come check out the place. Walks in, he goes, I like the vibe. It looks like shit down here. And at that point, I was like, I like this guy. This is gonna work out well. So
Yeah. I mean,
so,
also,
that's my little team.
yeah, I mean, like just having that Berkeley credit is kind of everything you need in terms of like establishing credibility
Yeah,
in
exactly.
music. So,
And then my grow guy and like other sound guy is my one of my best friends. And my old roommate Artem is another is kind of like the follow up guy, because like you gotta have your plants guy. You know what I mean? Gotta keep the plants coming.
yeah, for
That's
sure.
our big. That was another one of our big snags that we're having right now. Actually, is I'm actually outsourcing other plants because we had our harvest here, and with the whole pandemic, I got smashed by a bunch of bills and stuff. I couldn't ready the next round, so
Yeah.
I'm kind of outsourcing plants for a few more of them, because we're gonna have on Sunday. Our next one's gonna be with these little plants down here. It's not gonna be that impressive, but hey, it's something, you know, a little content coming out, and it's gonna be with a local band called Stone the Druggist. Yep. So we got Stone the Druggist coming by, and then we have a heavy metal, like not really metal, more like a hardcore act from New Hampshire coming by called After Image. A local rapper named Corey Lavish is coming by. I mean, it's filling up, and I even got a hold of Brian Chippendale from Lightning Bolt. We've been talking. We're in talks to get one done soon, and also Pigeons Playing Ping Pong, because they've been touring everywhere doing the drive, and they've been thinking about doing one next time they come to Massachusetts. So.
That's cool. So when did you start Play to the Plans? Because right now with the pandemic and everybody, you know, not being able to tour, it seems like right now would be just a prime opportunity to, you know, come play for you.
It's a prime opportunity to start putting them out. That's the thing. But it's not a prime opportunity to get, you know, big bands, because nobody's touring. And like, it's kind of hard to convince a band to like, hey, you guys want to drive from LA to come to Boston to play one show I'm not even able to pay you for.
Yeah, I forgot about the travel logistics.
Yeah, exactly. Kind of a problem. But yeah, I mean, so I'm kind of plucking town out of the Northeast, and that there are a lot of big acts in the Northeast. Like Jay Massis from Dinosaur Jr.'s out in Amherst. I'm trying to get a hold of him lately. And but yeah, I mean, I got New York to probably pluck from too. I don't really want to go too much further than like Philly, just because like I just don't know about the COVID in the South. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I don't feel like they take it as serious up here as they do in the North. Like if you go in a store up here in Massachusetts without a mask, you get yelled at.
Oh yeah, I took a road trip this summer with my friends. We went to like you know, Idaho, Montana, Yellowstone. Like we basically we did like a whole, you know, circle round trip in like the Northwest, and like we stayed in this small ass town in Montana called Plains. And they had, like, we went to this cafe. They had a sign that said, you know, governor orders, everybody must wear a mask. And we went in with our masks, and the waitress told us, oh yeah, you don't need those here. And we're just like, what are you talking about? Like,
pretty sure we need those here.
Yeah.
Like,
so I mean, we got so many dirty looks for like just, you know, trying not to bring COVID to
for
small
being
towns.
Safe.
Yeah, you know, for trying not to be a nuisance. But I mean, I was glad that I got to do that trip, because it gave me a much more realistic view of what America is, and that it's not just Seattle, you know?
It's your nice little neighborhood where everybody like usually agrees with you. There's a bunch of weirdos out there.
Yeah, it's just bananas. You know, really on both ends in different ways. Everybody's nuts in their own way. So
yeah, agreed, man. Crazy.
But yeah, in any case, so when did you start Play to the Plans, and like what was the idea behind it?
Our first one was like the middle of March with Lucid Links, and we got it done. And like you obviously know, you don't get it done and have it done. You have to edit it. So. And we didn't really like, now I have like editors I can send it out to and like make it look really nice with fast cuts and stuff. But for the first one, it was me and Artem. It was literally just me and Artem for the first one. So, and we wanted to edit it in a time frame that wasn't realistic for the two of us to do, because we wanted it done in time for 420. Because we wanted 420 to be like the first day we put it out. And we did. We got it out on YouTube on 420. Almost at 420. 2 minutes after 420 on 420. 20. So we got that out, and it's on YouTube right now. If you want to go look at it, it's called, you just type in Play of the Plants. Lucid Links is on there. But you can tell in like the editing like bit that we had like very little software. We didn't even use drum mics for it. That's how bad it was. You know what I mean? We had no equipment. Half of it was filmed on iPhone. You know what I mean? Now we have like actual cameras and like soundboards and things that you need to do a live show. So yeah, but that's what I kind of wanted the first one to be. I wanted it to be gritty. I wanted it to be real. I'm in my mom's basement. I mean, they moved to Florida. They left me in the house, but I'm still in my mom's basement. You know what I mean? So, and this is where I've been my whole fucking life. You know, just making music in this basement. Now I get the chance to bring the basement to the world, and it's like, I can't even believe it sometimes. Like when I started telling acts about it, and they were like, "You want me to come to your house and play your weed plants? That's awesome." I was like, "What? They want to do it?" Yeah, the first group that ever agreed to it, I think, were Frankie and the Witchfingers.
Really? Oh man, that's huge.
Oh yeah, I talk to Josh all the time. Josh, I mean, I talk to all of them. Even like the old bassist Alex, I still talk to him. Nikki, the new bassist, she's awesome. But yeah, no, Frankie. I mean, when Frankie do it, they're probably gonna come sleep. I have extra bedrooms and shit. They can come fucking sleep here if they want. I don't give a shit. I'll save bands of money on hotels if they want to. Come to Boston.
Yeah,
don't come to Boston if you can't afford the hotel. Just come to Boston. I'll put you up.
Yeah, I mean, shit. Like, you know, because like I used to live in New York, and then I ultimately decided to leave, come to Joshua Tree. But Boston was very much under consideration for me because like, I have some friends that at the time lived there, and I just came up to visit them one weekend, and that was my only time ever in Boston. And it's just such a cool city. Like we went to go see a live show. I forget the venue, but it's it was somewhere near Harvard. And
it was Sinclair.
Which one?
The Sinclair. They have a big staircase going inside up to a marquee, a restaurant on the left, and there's like a fire and ice out on the curb there. It's not open. But
Is that the one where you like go downstairs and it's like in a basement?
Oh! You went to, dude. You might have gone to the Middle East. Holy shit! Yeah, I've been to the Middle East in years. I used to be a wicked metalhead back in the day. Yeah, you're fine.
Oh, that would make sense because we did see sort of like a pretty heavy band.
Yeah, no, that makes sense because the Middle East they usually host like metal bands. I actually had the craziest. I'll tell you about my craziest concert experience, if you will.
Yeah, fuck it. Let's go.
I saw this band back in the day. I think it was like 2008. Yeah, during my high school metal days. So edgy, but so I saw this band called Horse the Band, and they played in the Middle East, and we're all like moshing out in the crowd, and they played their last song called Cutsman, right? And the lead singer decides to come down into the crowd and start moshing with us, and he's in the crowd, right? And no joke, he just like starts like he's moshing hard, and then he walks over to me, and no joke, collapses in my arms. I'm catching the limp weight of the lead singer of Horse the Band, and I'm shaking him like, bro, you gotta finish the song. And like, so like he's still limp. I don't know what the fuck is going on. Like he like drops to the ground. Me and 6 people carry him out of the mosh pit, right? And fucking, he's like on the ground. All of a sudden he comes to, starts screaming the like cut part of the song, and then runs out the back door. And that was the end of the show. And
holy shit.
Yeah, and I was at the Middle East. That was my Middle East concert experience for you there. Yeah. So yeah, I've had some time there.
Wow. And what an experience.
I don't know if they're still together. I haven't really looked up metal in a while. But yeah, Horse the Band. If you ever get the chance, like if you're in the metal at all, go look them up. They throw down.
Yeah, I used to. I think I used to play them a little bit on the college radio station. Occasionally, I'd be covering somebody's slot for the metal show. And
okay, all right.
Yeah. I'm pretty. I mean, because like I'm familiar with the band name. I'm pretty sure I did play them at some point.
They're a lot better than Five Finger Death Punch, that's for sure. I hated those guys.
My foray into metal was pretty. It was pretty brief. Like it was like freshman year.
Probably
high
saved
school.
Yourself a few brain cells then, man.
Oh, not too much. I mean, I was listening to like I was listening to Slipknot at like max volume in my ears because like I thought that was cool. I was an idiot.
More Dead Memories. Oh god.
Yeah.
That album killed me.
I mean, I think I realized like, hey, maybe metal isn't for me. Like after I went to Ozfest 2005 and like the guy standing, I mean, it was a great show, but like the guy standing in front of me had a Lamb of God tattoo. And I was just like, that's questionable as fuck.
Dude,
I mean,
bro,
everybody, I mean, he should be free to do it, but I'm just like, that's not the band that I would brand onto myself. Like, you know,
but that guy, who listens to Sacrilege and fucking laid the rest every damn day, he definitely did. I got
Yeah.
dropped because like we have this place in Massachusetts called the Tweeter Center. It's like the big place where you play if you're gonna like sell out. Like fucking everybody from fucking Beyonce to Jimmy Buffett plays there. Anyways, so fucking they had Ozfest at the Tweeter Center, and they have the way it's set up. It's like your big like bowl like setting going down onto the stage, but then you have a lawn set up here, and in the lawn is where it gets weird. So during Lamb of God, a humongous circle pit opens up in the lawn, and I look across, like we're all going like chugging through the pit, doing the thing, like, and I look across the pit, and there's this crazy Asian dude doing like flips and like shit. And I'm like, wow, hey, that guy's so cool. And then like 2 minutes later, I feel a foot hit me in the back of the head while I'm running. And I didn't realize until I started rolling down the hill. I saw him that the fucking dude kicked me in the back of the head. I get kicked in the back of the head, start seeing stars, roll down the hill, come to at the bottom of the hill, some guy like pouring beer, like almost on me, being like, bro, you gotta get up. Like it was so bad. So yeah,
that sounds like the most Boston way to administer first aid. Bro, you gotta get up.
Beer on him. Pour beer on him. That's the best way. That's the Boston first aid kit right there.
Oh God, that's hilarious.
Yeah,
glad you're okay.
Foray into the metal days.
Yeah, I mean, and you know, good on the dude. I mean, not everybody can kick that high. I mean, that's some flexibility. That's the guy who does his yoga.
It was very impressive. You know, I mean, you won't see that too often. And you know what the cool part is, like coming from my metal days too, I was like really into that for a bit there. So like getting to see how Stu loves metal is like really cool. You know what I mean? It's like you think like Gizz, the last thing you're gonna think is like death metal, but like he's into some of that shit.
Oh,
you know?
Joey too. I mean, Joey wears that Mudvayne shirt, and Mudvayne was one of the bands. Yeah, Mudvayne was one of the bands that was playing at Ozfest that year, and they were the second best act that I saw there. Like,
awesome.
I mean,
they also had that song in Ghost Ship too. Remember Ghost Ship?
No, I never really
got. Dude, you gotta see Ghost Ship. That's like the flick right there. But yeah, no, I just loved like that about like Gizz. You know what I mean? They have like so many different angles. You got like, you know, everything from like harmonicas to like death metal. So it's impressive.
I mean, I thought it was cool, and you know, not that surprising, but it was cool with Rat's Nest how, you know, they're still able to incorporate harmonica into.
I know, right?
I mean, you know, like you know, obviously with Perihelion that's big harmonica, and a bunch of others that I'm forgetting, but like they were still able to, you know, implement it, because at first I was worried, like, what's Ambrose gonna do when they play the Rat's Nest songs?
Thinking that. Everybody was thinking that, because like that's the thing. I mean, whenever Murloc's go and tour, Ambrose isn't there to write music, so they have to like come up with Ambrose parts. And I feel like secretly like Joey has a lot to do with the Ambrose parts. You know, I feel like he knows Ambrose a lot. You know, I mean, doesn't he like married to his sister or something?
Yeah, it's interesting. Like that's a dynamic, and again, not to get too into other people's business, but like that's a dynamic that I know with my friends that never would have gone over. Like that it would have been too weird.
I feel like Australian people are a lot more chill than American people when it comes to that shit. Especially up here in Boston. Up here in Boston, it's very like, oh, you know, you got like your girl, you know, you got your one thing, and like you couldn't mess with anybody else's girls or families, you know what I mean? But like, yeah, I mean, now in Australia, it's a little bit more loose. You know?
Yeah, I mean, because like, you know, we were settled, you know, originally we were settled by a bunch of Puritan fucks. And Australia was settled by a bunch of, you know, convicts.
They're in jail.
Like,
they're literally a jail island.
Yeah, and it was just like, it's like, oh wait, a jail that's in a better climate, and like, you know, it's fucking far away from the monarchy. Like, right? Okay, sure, we'll call this jail.
Right? I always said, dude, if they freaking legalized weed in Melbourne, I'd move there tomorrow. I really would.
That's crazy. It's still illegal there.
Yeah, that's why Australian people come to the States and they love weed so much. They're like, holy shit, like we don't get to do this much. I mean, the thing is, it's not like I can't get away with it. I know plenty of Australian people that go and like smoke and like walk down the street. But like, you know, it's not like here where I can get away with like growing 12 plants. You know what I mean? That's a lot stricter. So I would wherever I move to, like if I want to pack a plate of the plants one day, it would have to be where I can grow weed, because I'm never gonna stop growing weed. Speaking of, I think it's about that time, my friend, for a bong rip.
Have at it. The last time I smoked weed on an episode was the last episode, and it went every fucking where. Like, I can handle my weed sort of, but when you're counting on me to like sort of man the ship and like determine like, you know, steer like where this podcast is going, you want me totally sober.
That's fair. That's fair. No worries, man. I mean,
yeah.
The thing is, I've been smoking every day since I was 14. So it's like this bong. I took a bong before we started talking here. You know, so I'm doing my thing.
I figured as much. We did start recording this at 4:20 Eastern time. So
I was gonna say I made it just in time. You know, I was gonna try and time it right for 4:20, but you know, yeah, I decided to hold off.
Yeah.
5:17. It's 4:20 somewhere.
Yeah, right. Well, and I guess we have been recording for almost an hour, so we'll probably get to wrapping up sort of soon.
Yeah.
But in any case, you know, back to Gizz, because this is a Gizz podcast. I mean, I obviously I love talking about anything and everything with like-minded Gizz heads and shit. But I do want to just sort of touch on like the demos that came out a few weeks ago, because I've yet to really explore that with a guest. And I'm not talking about like the, you know, initial live stream demos that they had like a month or two ago, but like the, you know, demos 1 and 2 that they released on Bandcamp.
Yeah, I got the shirt. I got that shirt. You know, I'm so pumped with the Galea shirt. So.
Yeah,
the demos so good. The Evil Death Roll demo. Oh,
really? I mean, the Evil Death Roll demo. I liked it because it was like, okay, cool. So that's where it came from.
Yeah, that's my thing. I love seeing how it starts. You know,
I mean,
it gives me an idea.
Right. I mean, so like I love that too, because you know, just in seeing Gizz's whole discography, how it's evolved from Willoughby's all the way to KG. I mean, it's bananas. Speaking of which, music to eat bananas.
Microtonal bananas.
Microtonal bananas. They fucking love bananas. But like the song, you know, music to eat bananas to is such a wonderful upbeat thing. And also I think my favorite track from the demos is Dirt. Because it just made me think like, why was this an acoustic song? Like that, because the version on the demos, I think was just so poppy and fun, and like it was so Joey.
Yeah, it really was.
I mean, like it almost made me want to hear Gizz try to do something, you know, sort of Tame Impala style, like, you know, be a little more poppy with their psych.
So you want that Gizz Impala sound, huh?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, I think it's something that's worth exploring, you know?
You could get it. I mean, honestly, right now with the way Gizz is trending and stuff, and I don't know if you just saw that Kevin Parker was in the 100 or 50 most influential Australian things. I commented on Spinning Top's thing, and I said Stu McKenzie should be in there, and I got over like 50 likes, and those are all Tame Impala fans. So I mean, clearly Tame Impala fans love Gizz. I mean, how could you not listen to Head on Pill? And you know, I mean, you get that same vibe as when you're like going back and listening to. The thing I like about Tame Impala, going off Gizz for 1 sec, is I don't really like the new stuff, is that right? But their earliest stuff, even before Inner Speaker, is where Tame Impala is like the best. And I feel like Stu drew a lot of that out. That first EP, their YouTube covers of like Michael Jackson and shit. You know what I mean? He has a Stranger in Russia cover. So there's a bunch of weird shit that Kevin did in his earlier days that influenced a ton of Australian music. So I'll always appreciate Tame Impala for that. And the Inner Speaker saved my fucking life. But anyways, yeah, going back to Gizz, it's like, and who knows what Stu could do coming up. I mean, if he wants to take the time, he could work with like Courtney Barnett. He could work with Rufus the Soul. He could work with any like major Australian artist. He could even like him and his chickie poo could pack up and move to LA one day. Who the hell knows? You know. That
would be a terrible idea.
Yeah, I hope he doesn't. I hope he doesn't.
Well,
anything's on the table with them. That's the thing.
Yeah. Well, and I mean that's what I really like about Gizz, and like as we were saying earlier, like with, you know, what happens when that day comes, if it does, where there's like, all right, we're packing it in for at least a little while. Like, I think that's something that honestly I would be comfortable with. And I know I have this podcast and like a lot hinges on Gizz, but like, for their own benefit, I mean, shit, they've given us so fucking much over the last 10 years. Like they have enough, they have like more than twice the discography of other bands that I love. And, and like, it never gets old either.
Exactly. But how much is too much? Like, yeah, I'll be honest with you. This was the first drop in a while, the KG drop and like live drop, where I wasn't like frothing at the mouth. Like I used to like refresh my when the represses came out, the first albums, dude, I was refreshing my fucking thing every 5 seconds. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like it was around that time that they started to get a lot more in, and the fan base became a little bit more rabid, and it's just like it's funny because you look at other fan bases and they kind of like rip on the Gizz fan base a bit for being like so like in your face, being like King Gizz is the best. You know what I mean? A lot of people will be like especially like in the like OCs and Ty Segall group where it's just like, oh yeah, Gizz, how about those guys, those niche, those gimmicky guys, you know what I mean? But it's like it shouldn't be like that. Right? You know what I mean? Like, it shouldn't be looked upon like that. We're all in this together to meld, you know what I mean? And like there shouldn't be that kind of like hatred, but there shouldn't be that rabidness either. People should just agree. You know what I mean? It shouldn't be jacking up prices. People shouldn't be buying 4 records to sell 3. You know what I mean? But that's been happening for years, so that's just gonna keep happening. Sadly.
Yeah, I mean, there isn't really anything you could do to stop like people like exploiting the secondary market, but
I feel like there's a line though. There's definitely a line that people need to learn not to cross with them. Like,
well,
don't hit up their loved ones to get a hold of them and shit like that. Like, that shit happens. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's fucked up.
Cookie used to be fucking terrified of fucking talking to people. Like, that's why he doesn't fucking play live much. Because people can be fucking terrifying. They really can be.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, people hit me up for Play of the Plants and shit like that, and like all this shit. Like half my inbox is like people that I just don't want to respond to because they just want something out of you sometimes. You know what I mean? I hope Gizz doesn't get the feeling like the audience wants something all the time, and that they actually, do get that love. And I feel like they do. I just hope it doesn't get to that point.
Yeah, I mean, there is. It is very hard to sort of keep that in check when we live in this age of spin and tribalism that is just so. I mean, it extends to everything. It's so crazy, and I really wish more people would, kind of like wake up to that reality. It's not healthy.
He was saying, you know what I mean? Like he's not just saying for no reason. He's not just saying words for no reason. He's singing about actual problems in the world and like shit like that we should actually be focusing on instead of what the next blast beat is from Cabs or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's bigger things to focus on, is what
I'm saying. Yeah. and there's fucking lost it. But oh wait, no, I got it.
All right.
So one of the things that I was reading about in that Grateful Dead business book is just this notion of gatekeeping. So like a lot of Gizz fans that have been Gizz fans for the longest time, they're just like, I've been a fan since Oddments or since since before Willoughby's. I saw them play someplace. Like that shit's cool, but at the same time, it is so snobby. And and when the Grateful Dead experienced this, it was like, I mean, this was after they first achieved real commercial success in the '80s, and their fan base just expanded and exploded. Where to the point where Jerry Garcia had to like send everybody an email because like they had email, they had a mailing list.
I can tell you right now I know exactly the story you're watching. It's in the documentary. So what happened was they had to put out press releases. Everybody had to put out press releases saying that just like shit. Like Bob came out. Phil was the first one to do it because Phil's the most boring in the band. But Phil comes out and says like his press conference, like, give us peace. Don't try and fucking get backstage and all this shit. People are hopping fences trying to get backstage to go see the Dead. But people are just getting too hectic about it. So they put out press conferences. Everybody except Jerry Garcia, because Jerry Garcia is not a man that was never tied down. He refused to put out a press conference. He just said people are going to be the way they are. I mean, this is a guy that used to hang out with Hell's Angels. So
yeah,
he kind of just didn't. I mean, that wasn't his thing. To tell people no wasn't the thing that Jerry Garcia did. And if he did, it was not good.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird. It's kind of weird how that worked, but that's also inevitably what killed him, was not saying no. Like, not ending. I mean, when you look like you're 85 and you're 55 because of heroin, it's probably time to wrap it up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But he just didn't. That's not what he did. That's not what he knew to do. Because even when the Dead wrapped up, he was still chill. He was still touring with the Jerry Garcia band and like all sorts of shit like that. And I feel like in a way, but I think Stu's lucky that he has a good wife and stuff. Because I feel like that's what Jerry needed. Because I don't think Stu, if King Gizz ever ended, would like go out and like start touring. Like if they needed a break, he would take the break.
Yeah.
And I hope he would.
I mean, I think that the guys in Gizz have learned enough from other, previous generations' mistakes of just like, okay, so like that thing where you just stay up all night and just go on these crazy fucking benders. Can't really do that often.
And have a family.
Yeah. I mean, like it's so wild to me how family oriented Gizz is, despite being,
look at Lucas. Lucas is a literal father right now.
Yeah. And I mean, yeah, and I mean, Lucas's father, Joey and Ambrose's sister got their thing going. Stu's married, and they're expecting.
He's got his thing too.
And,
I think Eric's the only one that doesn't have a girl. When I think about it. Or Eric.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure Eric's doing all right, but
yeah, I mean, at least he's got flightless, and that's every bit of the responsibility.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, in reality, like being, running a record label is kind of like being a polygamist. It's, I mean, I would have to get somebody in Utah to touch on that, but
yeah, that's right. That's damn right.
A lot of work.
It is hard to veer off the track when you have such a good support system. I think that's the big thing that we can realize about the Gizz and sleep soundly about. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's a lot different times too. You know what I mean? It's not everybody's sharing the women and the wine anymore.
Yeah, and hey, we know not to share needles either. Or maybe steer clear completely of the needles. Like it seems like they're pretty good at that.
Up here in the Northeast, bro, it's bad, man.
Yeah.
Lost a cousin to that. Almost lost a brother, dude. It's crazy shit. But
also, fucking A.
In a way, the way I put it is, my mom always said that my brother. It's kind of a weird way to say it. She's not even that religious, but she said my brother went up on the cross for me in a way. So I got to see how awful it was through him, and I'll never touch a needle now.
Yeah.
I smoke my smoke. I drink my drink, and an occasional psychedelic trip. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Other than that, I'm good.
Fuck yeah, dude. I mean, yeah, shit. Like psychedelics basically saved my life, but
I mean,
so and coincidentally, as discovered Gizz shortly after, so it was just like a meeting of the two best worlds.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about. That's like Bonnaroo for me, man. I've been to the last 6 Bonnaroos now. Big Tennessee festival guy, and Gizz was set to do one this year, so I was about to like.
I was considering it.
Dude, you should go, because we'll meet up and I'll show you the best time of your life. Because I tent with like 30 people, and they're all from like Canada and Scotland. We call ourselves the UN, and so Gizz were like set to do it this year. So like everybody was wicked excited to go see Gizz because and I think everybody likes to see how excited I get at shows. I get really amped when I go to shows, like really pumped up, and I think my crew really likes to see me get pumped up at shows because that's what happened at Rufus the Soul last year when I saw them. I sung every fucking word of Rufus the Soul. So good. If you don't know them at all, Australian EDM. Woohoo! So I've
never really gotten into EDM, but I'll give them a shot. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the good thing about Rufus is it's not like just some guys DJing. They like play instruments and stuff. And, like,
sick.
Yeah, it's really impressive. Oh, roommate's home.
Nice. Well, I think we'll wrap up quickly.
I gotta go install a water filter now.
Fuck yeah, man. But real quick, just anything that we haven't touched on Gizz related that you've been kind of chewing on.
I mean, the big thing is I want people to know if they see this podcast that I am dying and trying my hardest as soon as touring starts up to talk to anybody who books or anybody who does to get Gizz here as fast as I can. I mean, the thing is, they didn't put Boston on the touring schedule, so it could be a little difficult. Maybe it won't be next year. Maybe it won't be like the year prior. But I mean, if they're still going and they come to Boston, we will have them here. So that's all I want really people to know.
Fuck yeah, man! I love that. I love everything that you're doing, man. It's really cool. It's sick. It's you know.
Thanks.
Fucking
Yeah, I think
great.
Boston needed something like this. You know, the Northeast is pretty boring.
Yeah. But I mean, you definitely got the energy for it, and sounds like you got a good group of people around you. So
yeah, now we're working with the best now.
Fuck yeah, man, dude. Zach. Thank you so much for coming on. It's been an absolute pleasure.
John, it's been awesome, man. Yeah, like I said, this won't be the last time we chat.
Hell yeah, man. Take it easy.
All right, brother. Peace.